So we've just come off the bye. We obviously had a really big game against Sydney on the weekend, and we flew up to Sydney on Thursday afternoon about 12:30. Leaving the club, there's a few fans that get there to watch the final captain's run session, and then they obviously hang around and try and get a few autographs. And I'm not sure why you would want the TV signed, but it's yeah, that was probably one of the more stranger things that I've signed before. The bus trip to the airport, it's probably a little bit more laid back than the bus trip to the actual game itself. A bit more fun, a bit more relaxed, and a few of the boys share a few stories and that kind of thing. But Jason Winterlich's probably one of the more nervous flyers. Stance never used to like it, but I think he's getting a bit better now with his old age. So when we took off on the weekend, the winds were pretty crazy, and I thought the plane was going to go down there at one stage, but no, we made it up and we got there on time. Pre-game, obviously a lot of the boys listen to music and that kind of thing. Me, myself, I listen to a bit more chilled out, an hour out from the game, and then when it's about kind of 20-25 minutes from the game, I'll listen to music that'll pump me up a little bit more and get me into a good headspace and get me in the zone before the game. This week we trialled a new warm-up for myself. Obviously I haven't played too much footy in the last kind of 2 months, so with my ankle it's just been about what's right for me and getting my warm-up individualised to minimise my time on my feet. I did a little bit inside with the physio, and then went out and did my ruck stuff with the main group. So that worked for me this week, and it's something that I'll look to continue going forward. We don't play at the SCG too often, so it's a new experience for a few of the boys. But the ground itself, it can be a daunting experience if you haven't played there before. Obviously all the Sydney fans are pretty vocal, so it's good to get out there a little bit earlier and have a run around and get a feel for the ground.
Number with speed, boys. Get over quick.
I work really close with Jakey Cullo in the pre-season. He's a great guy, Jakey, and he's put in a lot of hard work, and it's just great for him to come into some good form at the right time of the year. And I think as a playing group we always had the confidence that Jake was going to hit that form. It was just a matter of time, and it's a real credit to him that he's playing some really good footy, and I hope he does really well for the rest of the season.
Let's go, boys!
When you play a great team like that, you can't give them a head start like we did, and we played some really good footy in the second and third quarter, and took the game on, but you have to do that for 4 quarters against great teams. I haven't played a lot of footy in the last 5 or 6 weeks. You obviously do have your doubts a little bit, but I spoke to Joe before I went out, who I've been training with in rehab for a couple of weeks, and he said just have belief and have confidence in what you've done. And it's a big relief for me to know that I can get through a full game of football, which I haven't been able to do for 2 or 3 months now, really. So it's it's a good feeling that I know that my body will allow me to get through a game of AFL. Now it's just obviously about getting my touch back and finding some form.
My name is Mark McVeigh, and I strive to give the Bombers a lifetime of value throughout my 232-game career.
I've cooked up a massive stitch-up for the Essendon boys. I'm heading back to the club disguised as a nenner on a supporters tour to fool the youngsters. I spent a day in the makeup chair to look like a proper old duck. It had gone well so far. My man on the inside, Winders, loved it. It was now time to see if my disguise would work on the young guns.
I'm guessing one of these two boys would be your favourite players, or Job, or Fletch, or... Actually, probably Fletch with the age there.
The youngsters had no idea. They thought it was a doco about old ladies who love footy. I just needed to wait for my moment to get stuck in.
I suppose when you first come to the club, you do a lot of sessions, as Zach has said, just to try and put on size.
David, is it your first year at the club?
He does.
My sixth year.
Sixth year, is it?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I just thought, yeah, you look a bit skinny.
Oh, cop that, cop that.
I got my first laugh and I was away. It was time to run amok.
How heavy are these?
Heavy are these?
How heavy?
10 kilo. All the way up to, well, I think that's 20, all the way up to like 50, I reckon, down there. 10 to 50 kilo. Go easy there, girls. Go easy there. Oi. Go steady.
I got a little far and the boys said something was up.
They're taking the piss on us.
That's what I mean.
I had to keep my head down for a while.
No one would go pick up weights.
Luckily, Winders was there to keep us on track, but I knew if I was to make it through to the big finale, I had to keep a low profile.
After every training session, after every game, weight session, so normally about 1 or 2 times a day, guys will be in here doing recovery. Normally it's the last thing you do before you leave.
Yep.
The boys had gone off the scent. It was time to finish this off.
True Value Solar, powering a lifetime of change.
Crouch already? Right, where are we sitting? Who's on the front? So I've been a member for 30 years and been going to games for probably 32 years, and I've had quite a few times where I've been vilified. And I remember 3 years ago sitting at my Etihad Stadium reserve seats with my husband, and behind us some guy started yelling out "Pufta" and stuff at the players. And then his daughter started doing it from the other side, and it was in stereo, and for about half an hour this was happening, and I turned to Adrian and I said, I'm not an aggressive person, but I said to him, I've got to say something here, and I was a bit afraid. So I turned around, because these are our reserve seats, we sit there every week, and I said to the man, I'm gay and this is my husband, can you use some different words to criticise and whatever you're doing on the field? And my heart was in my throat, and he stopped, and they never did it again. I changed reserve seats after that. Yeah, it happens, and it's just, we don't need to be sexist or homophobic or racist with our comments in the audience, If we're not satisfied with something on the field, there are other words we can use. So the Purple Bombers is Essendon's gay and lesbian supporter group, and it's basically going to provide a safe place for gay and lesbian supporters to be involved with the club. We'll have events and functions, and we'll be encouraging the club to continue its work to remove discrimination and homophobia. And if people want to get involved, there'll be a web page up through the website. You want to express your interest in being involved, and we'll form a committee over summer and launch it next year for the 2015 season. And it'll be a membership package as well.
I mean, the Essendon Football Club's always been a club that's promoted diversity and inclusion, and probably an extension of the EFC Respects campaign that we launched earlier this year. We were approached by the Purple Bombers earlier in the year, and we think it's a great extension to that campaign and a great opportunity for us to promote a message of diversity and inclusion that makes a whole range of sense, a great deal of sense for a football club like us, given we can impact and reach so many people.
It's about, removing discrimination and homophobia from, the workplace and the ground and the supporter base, really, and making it a safe place for everyone. And the club are really keen. They've got the Essendon Football Club Cares program, and they really want to make sure that whatever a person's race or gender or sexuality is, it's okay, and they're welcome and loved by the club and an important part of the membership base.
Yeah, well, Jason and I, Jason's one of my player sponsors, but Jason and I spoke at a player sponsor function a number of months ago, and it was his initiative to form the Purple Bombers, and it was his vision for the club to get behind. It's also his vision in an ideal world to have a purple gay pride round for the whole AFL. So Jason being my sponsor was almost a given that I support this, because we've talked about it on a number of occasions. I was really encouraged because he said amongst the playing group there's no homophobia being yelled at each other. It's a really accepting and safe environment, and I was really excited by that.
I think this is a good opportunity to send a positive message to the wider community that regardless of your race, gender, sex, you're welcome at the Essendon Football Club, attending Essendon Football Club games, but also more broadly across the league and sport in general.
Well, the ultimate test will be that we'll have openly gay players, and it'll be matter of fact and nobody will care really whether someone's straight or gay. That's the ultimate test, and the environment at the games will just be fully inclusive, and we'll just be one of the other colours of the audience, if you like. So you've got diverse audiences from all over the place. Come on, Bombers! Ball! It'll be just lovely to think that we can have a pride round one day that really tackles homophobia, and I know the clubs are doing it individually and different things are happening, but there is no real public statement to say no, we embrace everybody and we respect diversity.
Hi everybody, I'm Serena Lococo, the club dietitian, and today on Everybody Every Day, sponsored by Yakult, we'll be going through some nutrition tips for game day. You do want for them to consume mainly carbohydrate sources of food, really easily digestible carbohydrate. Just some really simple light muesli bars, some low-fat fruit muffins and bananas are their favourites. Some of the boys do like some jam sandwiches, and even a couple actually like the peanut butter, just to give them a little bit more sustainability throughout the game. And obviously really important hydration. So I do encourage them to hydrate with an electrolyte drink, particularly Gatorade's, quite a good drink, and it does provide some of the carbohydrate they'll be needing throughout the game. How much the players should eat before games, it just depends on the player. About an hour or so before the game, something like just a simple sandwich, so 2 slices of bread and some jam, 1 banana or 1 muffin or a couple of muesli bars. Okay, so moving on to during the game at half time, we have some fruit platters for the boys, just to give them a little bit of variety, because they'll be drinking a lot of sports drinks on the ground. The gels are really popular. They're just basically carbohydrate gel, and some lollies. The snakes are favourites, and they're just mainly to get some quick, easily digestible carbohydrate into their system. And then moving on to after the game, we generally focus on hydration. Each player has a good awareness of their sweat rate, so we weigh the boys before the game and weigh them afterwards and give them an idea of what they've lost, and then we can kind of calculate how much Gatorade and water or other fluids that they might need to help their recovery. The most popular food that we provide after the game is pizza, mainly because it's high in carbohydrate, easy to eat, easy to transport in and keep warm, and it's also quite salty, which encourages the hydration. And there's a little bit of an insight as to what Essendon players have on game day.
We're here today to see an Essendon fan earn their sash. Today, Cracker here is going to see if he can do 5 push-ups with my foot on his back. Ready to go, Cracker?
I sure am, Hales.
Here we go. Wait up, here we go. Get going. 2, he's tough. 3, 4, last one. Good stuff, Cracker. So there you have it. Another Essendon fan has earned their sash. If you'd like to earn yours, tell us what you're prepared to do via our hashtag.
You like that?
Not at all, mate.
Here it comes.
One way to earn your sash is to visit the Kia website and see the many great deals currently on offer across the entire Kia range. So visit kia.com.au and find a deal that's right for you. You can even leave the sash on if you like.
My first sash was the number 3. It was presented to me by Simon Madden before the first game against the Kangaroos. Simon Madden said, you know, it was good to have me at the football club and, you know, make the most of my opportunities and, yeah, just enjoy my time here. Yeah, I was nervous, yeah, I just sort of didn't know what to expect and hadn't really played much footy with my new teammates and just wanted to do the best that I could by them and didn't know, you know, what to really expect and how they played the game. So it was good to, you know, get out there and play and contribute and, you know, to have a good win, more importantly.
First touch for him, really, to fall for. Chappie's at the back. You'll back him. He's kicked his second. Uncle Paulie, eh? Doesn't matter what Guernsey's got on.
Obviously wanted to change from the number that I had previously and you know, I thought about it and there's been some great players who have adorned the number 3, so it was a great honour to be given the number 3 Guernsey. Never really get used to the colours and then once they're on you and you know, your 21 mates have got the same colours on, then, you know, it was pretty natural. And when I look at photos and things like that and think, well, that's a bit different. It's not what you're used to seeing, and it's actually quite slimming too, which is nice. So I'm actually thinking you're looking pretty fit. It means everything to me now, yeah. It's used to be the enemy, and now I get up every day and want to be the best player I can be for the jumper and for my teammates. It's been great. It's been a good change for me. They say change is good as a holiday, and on this occasion it has been. It's something that I really needed more than what I thought, and the way that I've been embraced by the club and the players has been perfect and positive, and you know, I just hope to repay these guys.
Well, the Essendon Football Club Past Players Ambassadors program was developed as a way for our fans to feel more connected to the Essendon Football Club, and also for a way for our past players to be involved with the club again as well. Obviously the move from Windy Hill out here to the True Value Solar Centre created an opportunity for fans when they visit the club here to be able to really experience what makes Essendon great and share in some of the memories and the history that the club has been through over the years, and what better way than for some of our past players and champions of the Essendon Football Club to pass on that knowledge to our fans.
Well, I suppose you look at the facilities nowadays compared to what we went through. You know, we used to walk off the ground after a game at Windy Hill and grab a smoke off Woodsy and grab a beer off Betsy and go and sit in a spa. But that's the way the game's changed. I don't think I'd like to be going through this era the way it's played nowadays.
Ken Fraser will be very solid and very erudite. Bander will have every story in creation. John Williams will tell us about why he defected from the club and went to Collingwood. They like to speak about the past and the good old days and the bad old days, and a lot of people get a lot of thrill out of that sort of stuff. It'll be funny, it'll be good. I was pleased to join in because I love the club, and anything I can help out with, I'm pleased to do so.
Well, for the past players to be able to come in and impart their knowledge through the tours with fans who come and visit the True Value Solar Centre, I think would be a great honour for them. They get to relive many of the great moments that the club has been through, many of their own personal stories about some of the great characters that the Essendon Football Club has had over the years. So I think for them it would create a real buzz.
And Rod Baggett, his brother, was coaching Brunswick when I come back from the war, and I had a letter from 3 recruiters while we were waiting for a ship to come up in New Guinea. And I showed him the letter. I went down to Williamstown first. Ron Todd didn't want to talk to me, and so I said, well, I better go up and see can I get a game with Essendon. There's 3 names there that wouldn't be on it until they brought in this rule this year. Now when you're a premiership player, automatically a life member. Life member and your name on the locker. They're all their own boots. When I was playing, we got 1 pair a year. And have a look at them now.
I think for the fans to come and have tours with the ambassadors here, it's a great opportunity to not only see the facilities here at the Essendon Football Club, but also take a look or take a trip down memory lane and ask questions about the past and about some of the great people that have worked here at the Essendon Football Club. Remember moments in time like when Lethal Lee hit the post at Windy Hill, or the Windy Hill Brawl, or Kevin Sheedy tying down the windsock, whatever it might be. I mean, the ambassadors that are actually taking the tours were around during those days. So for the fans, it's about creating an opportunity and also an experience when they come to the club that's not just a tour, it's actually a guided tour by somebody who loves the Essendon Football Club and has all of that great knowledge.
My first injury was my knee, patellar tendonitis, so had an operation on that. And then, because I was getting ruled out for the rest of the year, I got my shoulder done, which was slipping out a few times last year, so they got that opted on as well. I think it's just called a shoulder reco. 2 anchors in the front, 2 anchors in the back, so she's all strong now. It's been pretty tough, obviously. Obviously you want to play footy, you're here to play footy, that's your job, and haven't played a game all year and barely trained. Trained 2 or 3 times coming back from the Christmas break, so it's been a bit of a nightmare, but hopefully can get it right and then start off fresh next pre-season and go into that. So basically with my knee, I've got to work on my isolated strength on my left leg to just hopefully get the quad up and going, and which will take most of the load and then not put as much load through the tendon. So therefore I'm doing lots of exercises where I'm just trying to get my quad as strong as possible, and then I can start using different lifts, more compound lifts, squatting and jumping, and then hopefully into running, and then progress from there into training. But it's a real slow process to start with, and I'm just got to take it a step at a time and work on building the strength around my knee. Obviously I'm still watching the boys and getting around the boys. I live with Mizey and Trav, and obviously follow their progress pretty heavily and trying to get around as much as I can. Trying not to be a biggest mope around, but I'm battling a bit. But yeah, I'm trying to get around the boys, and obviously my personal goal is to get ready for pre-season next year.
This has been a Fox Footy presentation.